Does Yahweh have some kind of sense of humor where he gets a kick out of watching you and I try to put up a tent? Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah. This week we're focusing on thoughts leading up to Sukkot. I have watched while people have tried to sort out a new tent that they have bought just for the purpose of Sukkot. They look at all the pieces, they look at the instructions, and then it takes a whole company of folks from the camp to try to figure out how to put the thing up. One year I remember a young mom and her children showed up, and they had one of these tents to where you're supposed to unfold it and basically throw it on the ground and it would just pop up itself. Boy, that was fun. We become masters at taking tarps and tying them to trees and covering over everything pertaining to our tent, because every time we put up a tent, it's going to rain. Matter of fact, I've put up tents in the rain. That's fun too. So is it a big joke to Yah to watch us bunch of silly Hebrew Ephraimites out in the middle of a campground? Sometimes it's just a field, and we're trying to put tarps down and tents up and then tarps over the top and keep ourselves dry. Does he enjoy seeing us stand in line with a towel over our shoulder and a bottle of shampoo and soap in the other, waiting our turn in a shower house? Does he really enjoy seeing us trek through the mud and everything that we own get wet? What about the bugs? The failed campfires that are more about creating smoke than heat. We have been there, and we have done all of these things. I have multiple tents in my garage. We have air mattresses. We have tent stakes. We have tarps. But thankfully, this year we have an RV. Boy, that's going to be fun. What is this Sukkot thing all about? Is it just teaching American Hebrews how to camp, pulling us out of our city dwellings, getting us reattached with our more rural roots, things that we've gotten away from? Over the last several days, I've been on the internet trying to watch how to tie certain knots, because I'm certain somebody's going to need some help. If I have a fancy new knot that I can use, boy, that's going to be fun. What is it all about? Well, if we look at the scripture, what a place to go. If we go to Leviticus, Vayikra, chapter number 23, it simply says, "Speak to the children of Israel, saying," this is verse 34, "On the 15th day of the 7th new moon is the festival of Sukkot for 7 days to Yahweh. On the first day is a set-apart gathering. You do no servile work." It's a Shabbat. "For 7 days you bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. And on the 8th day there shall be a set-apart gathering for you, and you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. It is a closing festival. You do no servile work." So the first and the last days are both Shabbats. "These are the appointed times of Yahweh which you proclaim as a set-apart gathering, to bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh, an ascending offering, and a grain offering, a slaughter, and drink offering, as commanded for every day. Besides the Shabbats of Yahweh, and besides your gifts, and besides all your vows, and besides all your voluntary offerings which you give to Yahweh. On the 15th day of the 7th new moon, when you gather in the fruit of the land, celebrate the festival of Yahweh for 7 days. The first day is a rest, and on the 8th day a rest. And you shall take for yourselves on the first day the fruit of good trees, branches of palm trees, twigs of leafy trees, willows of the stream, and shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim for 7 days. And you shall celebrate it as a festival to Yahweh for 7 days in the year, a law forever in your generations. Celebrate it in the 7th new moon. Dwell in booths for 7 days. All who are native born in Israel dwell in booths. Why? So that your generations know that I made the children of Israel dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim. I am Yahweh your Elohim. Why? To remember. To get reattached to something that we've lost. Someone asked me a number of years ago when I was describing putting up tents and dealing with cold and inclement weather that particular year. Laura and I have actually woke up, stepped out of our tent, and there was snow on the ground. We found ways to live in a tent without a heater and stay warm. We've gone through the challenges, but someone asked me, why are you doing that? I just don't believe you have to do all of that. In their estimation, the understanding was that Yahweh is requiring this of us for an act of salvation. It has nothing to do with being born again. It's an act of obedience, and it's an act of remembering and reconnecting to that which we have lost. Somehow we have focused majorly on convenience and comfort. We like things easy at hand. We like things that are comfortable and easy on us. We like our air-conditioned, climate-controlled homes, automobiles. We don't like to be inside a hot tent at night or a cold tent at night. We prefer to be able to walk on the carpeted floor from our bedroom to our bathroom and take a nice hot shower at our leisure. Sometimes that's just not the way it is at Sukkot. The Sukkot also teaches us community. And it's about remembering that as everybody dwelt in a booth or a temporary structure, we read about them living in their tents. So it wasn't just that they spent 40 years in wooden lean-tos that they constructed out of whatever their hands could find. They had tents, and they dwelt in their tents. We set up tents, and some of us set up metal tents called an RV, but it's a temporary structure. And I don't want to get into the legalism of whether you think that qualifies or not, but the idea is it's temporary. And we live outside for most of the day. And we dwell as community, and we learn to help one another. If someone's struggling with a fire pit, or they're struggling to find the right ingredient that they left at home for their planned meal. I found folks that if you don't have it, ask around. Someone has it. Someone will let you borrow it. We have learned to take more than what we need. Packing up thinking, well, somebody else might need this, so I'll take it. Whether it's a tool or an axe or some extra line and rope or another tarp, an extra camp chair, whatever it might be, someone might need this. And so the act of giving and helping and being community comes into play. And I've also found this, that at Sukkot, there is the testing of relationships. Sometimes we do very well. We resolve our issues and we find ways to get along. There have been some other occasions that it didn't turn out so well. I've had folks get mad. I've had folks get angry and separate themselves. Things happen. I regret it. I wish it hadn't happened. But you deal with it the best that you can. Sukkot reveals what it's like for you and I to live together outside our comfort zones in a place called the wilderness, and learn to get along and learn to endure and persevere together, and then to learn to focus on the King who is in the camp. We'll talk more about Sukkot tomorrow, maybe some of the practical things, but until then, shalom.